Come on in, welcome to Idled Out, where we talk all things Survivor. My name is Luke, and today we're talking about Survivor players with the weirdest, wildest, and most memorable voting parchments of all time. A lot of votes have been cast across Survivor history. 16 to 20 players a season, let's say an average of 8 votes cast per episode, 13 or 14 episodes a season, times 45 seasons and counting. Needless to say, most parchments are forgotten by the time they leave Jeff's hands. There's the odd, memorable voting parchment for its use of silly art, mysterious blurs, or for how mad it made Jeff.
Who wrote Bye Bye Denver Diva? Who's the name?
Gandia.
Gandia.
Denver Diva.
In the future, write a name down, okay? Enough with the nicknames.
But overall, most players actually try to obscure their votes by making their handwriting as innocuous and forgettable as possible. But not always. Today, I want to look at 5 Survivor players who went down in Survivor history for the unique way they cast all of their votes. Whether that was their intricate handwriting, attempts to send mysterious coded messages on every parchment, or personalized art for each player, including something so accidentally offensive it went down in Survivor history as perhaps the single most famous individual vote of all time. So grab your pen and parchment and join me as we count down 5 Survivor players who did really unique or weird things with their votes. Yeah, number 5 is Eric from Survivor Micronesia and Survivor Caramoan, who cast nearly every vote in comic book style fonts. If you didn't know, Eric is an artist, and on his 3rd vote in Micronesia, he began experimenting with using different fonts and art styles when casting his votes, which got increasingly elaborate as the season went on. He said he was too anxious during his first 2 votes to really get artistic in the voting booth, but starting with his vote for Chet and continuing all the way through Micronesia and his second appearance in Caramoan, Eric's creative parchments were consistently something to look forward to. I mean, what else are you going to look forward to in Caramoan? Some of my favorites are his The More You Know style font for Jason, as well as this other graffiti style Jason vote. Although I may be biased and just like that he was trying to vote out Jason. But there's also this vote for Philip in Caramoan, and of course the vertical Parvati vote on his Micronesia boot episode, which, goddamn, Jeff is smooth. Now, it's a risky strategy to make your votes so obvious in a game about deception, but these votes actually helped cement Eric's status as one of the few memorable and likable fans on this otherwise cannon fodder tribe. And besides, easily recognizable votes would be far from Eric's biggest tribal council blunder. At number 4 is Cowboy from Survivor Cook Islands, who cast his votes in beautiful, intricate calligraphy. If you watched Cook Islands, you're a Cowboy fan, and I'll take any chance I can get to shout him out. Inventor of the split vote strategy, headache remover extraordinaire, attempted baby bird murderer, this guy is nothing if not memorable, and injected some much needed personality into Cook Islands. I can only sit through so many sleepy confessionals or Candace and Adam spit swaps before I start reaching for the remote. I don't have much to say about his votes, except that I wish we could have seen more of them. He only cast 2 in his time on Cook Islands, but his 2 votes for Cecilia and Candace are both written in beautiful calligraphy, and I think that these are some of the most visually appealing votes ever cast on this show. Like, if I were Cecilia, I'd be asking for that voting parchment for me on my way out the door, after I figured out why Cowboy and Flicka betrayed me for no reason. Why did they do this again? At number 3 are Sue and Ralph from Survivor Borneo and Survivor Redemption Island, who misspelled nearly every vote they ever cast to the point of comedy. I don't want this to come off as mocking because Ralph passed away in 2022, but I genuinely adore both of these players, and I think their consistently misspelled votes make them all the more lovable. The very first vote ever cast in Survivor history is horribly mangled. Like, if you don't know the name of the first boot in Borneo, What name is Sue trying to spell here? Sonia. It's Sonia. Now, Sue does spell her second vote for Stacy correctly, so you might think for a second that Suna was a one-off mistake. Oh, Dirk with an E? Let's go. Nearly every vote Sue casts from here on out is completely butchered, from Gresham to Jervis to Jean. Nope, Sue, she won't be on till Survivor Amazon. You meant Jenna. Ralph similarly struggled with the spelling up in the voting booth. I mean, when you start off with wrestle, you know we're in for a season of fun spelling errors. Crasta, Stiffany. Hey, at least he got Rob right. My absolute favorite Ralph spelling has to be his repeated attempts to spell Philip, though. Look, I get it. One L or two. I never know either. Wait. Philite? File? File again? Now, it's long been speculated that Ralph was intentionally misspelling names to further hide behind his good old boy persona. I mean, Crasta. I don't know how you have only 5 vowel choices here, and you somehow pick the one that makes the least sense. But no, I think Ralph really was just not the best speller, and my evidence is that he was eliminated from Redemption Island on a spelling puzzle, which he got to first and then lost on anyway. Ralph, you beautiful, hairy, Russell-owning spell-check nightmare legend.
That was simple as wiping your hind end with toilet paper.
At number 2 is Coach in Survivor Heroes vs. Villains, who attempted to send a secret coded message with his votes, only for that to completely fail when he was voted off early. I swear, only Coach would have the ego and the shamelessness to try to pull this off. On Coach's votes, he tucked away a little number in the corner of each vote he cast. At first, we were all kind of confused. Why did Coach put a 4 on his vote when voting for Randy? Then there's an 18 on his vote for Parvati, a 1 on his vote for Courtney, and a 7 on his second Courtney vote. But if we convert each number to their equivalent letter of the alphabet, Coach's intent becomes clear. 4 is D, 18 is R, 1 is A, and 7 is G. That spells drag. So Coach is either the biggest RuPaul fan ever, or he's trying to spell out Dragon Slayer on his votes throughout the season, his self-given moniker from his time in Tokensheens. Now, Coach is ultimately voted out at the 4th tribal council he attends, leaving his work unfinished at the funniest possible point. But I love that Coach expected to go to 12 tribal councils, no more, no less, which, credit where credit is due. The final 4 villains all attended exactly 12 tribal councils. Just, Coach wasn't one of them because he was voted out nearly 3 weeks ago. Coach does end up saving his embarrassing drag-coded message by throwing a 14 or N on his final tribal vote for Parvati, giving him a nice drag N at the end of the day. You know what? Close enough. At number 1 is Jenny from Survivor Cook Islands, who did a little doodle relevant to each player she voted for, one of which was so accidentally offensive it came to define both players' Survivor legacies. Jenny's little parchment doodles were intended as a cute, personalized send-off to each boot. Pro volleyball player JP, for example, got a volleyball on his vote. Stephanie got a heart, or maybe that's a heart-shaped mashed potato. Brad got a fish on a hook, which I guess he did a lot of fishing. I don't know, we didn't really see much of this guy. But when it came time to vote for Christina, a police officer who was shot in the line of duty and who almost lost her arm to that bullet wound, Jenny's custom doodle was a gun shooting Christina's name. What? Now, Jenny apparently did not know Christina had been shot, only that she was a cop, so the vote is only accidentally tasteless, I guess. But for me, it's just so funny. I mean, did the gun seriously have to be shooting Christina's name? Honestly, bring back Jenny. I need to see more votes Jenny would cast in real life, and I'd love to see her just double down on the offensive parchments. Give me Jenny's vote for Jackson with a drawing of some lithium pills, or Hannah with a vape, or Brandon with a little ladder right now. Got nothing else for ya. Don't be a drag like Coach's votes. Like and subscribe, and I'll get you more Survivor content just like this. Until next time, don't get idled out.